Good evening. How's it going? Brianna Kitten. Hey! So, something, I have a little bit of a late start today, and something happened. A lot of somethings have been happening. Some crazy good somethings have been happening. And so I just wanted to take a moment and take it in. This amazing community that's been built, this momentum that we're all experiencing together. And I went outside and I took a deep breath in and I looked straight up, and the moon was shining down in a ring because of the clouds. There was this ring, and right next to the moon, go outside right now and you'll see it, is this beautiful pink Mars, just like right next to it. Man, this pink star of the will, and this big bright moon giving it fuel, the energy of the divine feminine. It's right there. Go look. Surrounded by this ring of light. At least where I am is the ring. I really recommend, if you're in the Northeast United States, or if you're at a point where it's dark and you're fortunate enough to be in a position to look up and see this at around, it's about 20 to 2 where I am in the morning. Whew, something. And it dawned on me as I was sitting there looking at it. It dawned on me, a lot of the work that I do is related to astrology. Although I do a lot of tarot on the channel, and I love playing with my beads, and working with the I Ching and various other forms of divination. But really, trust me, I'm not going to get too heavy, so you take your time. But astrology it's one of those vocabularies, right? It's one of those things that even as a kid we understand. I mean, how old were you when you learned your sun sign? All right. I mean, I guess I was pretty young when I was told I'm a Sagittarius and what that means, and going to Chinese food restaurants with my grandparents and looking up the your sign, your zodiac. I'm a rabbit, by the way. Earth rabbit. So that said, though, you consider the idea of this vocabulary that we really kind of develop early in life. This is something that we are familiar with and used to. We read our horoscopes in the paper, we talk about it, and so on. And so we go through the compatibility apps and stuff, and charts, and I actually, very cool thing. We did a compatibility thing in high school. True story. This is a true story. And what it did is it rated everybody in the school against certain personality traits and certain other things, and it would give you this list of people that you theoretically were compatible with, right? It was like around prom, which didn't matter. I had a date for prom because I had a steady girlfriend at the time, and we were a thing, and so we were going together. But so I took the personality test, and she took the test, and everyone in the school did it. I mean, how cool was that? And the number one person on my list for compatibility was my girlfriend. How cool was that, right? And the number two was somebody that I was very close to, and we were kind of friendly, and so it was neat. And we kind of had a chuckle about that. And so, there does seem to be some kind of idea with respect to these systems work pretty well when looking at connections. And while I was outside looking up at this amazing thing, this beautiful moon with this gorgeous pink gem. Oh, I love that, the serpent. Kind of dancing around the moon with this ring of light, and it dawned on me, that's what we're looking at, right? Like, here's my birth chart. I have it out here for a different reason, but right, it's just, and I cut it out of a sheet of paper, right? I have a friend of mine is an astrologer, and she's has better software than me. Her reports are pretty, let's just put it that way. My ephemeris works, the day is good, and I use it very effectively. But it's not a pretty report, but hers are pretty, so this is the one that I printed out to use here. But this said, and if you'll see the symbols, and if you're not familiar with this chart, what it is referring to is the moment of my birth. This is east. Okay, this is where the sun was at the time that I was born. And it has a placement of where all the planets were, right? So this is the north sky, this is underneath the earth, and we're standing in the middle looking east, right? And so this is what we're looking at here. And so we plug in the data. We plug in the birthday and the time and the place and all this stuff, and it spits out this list of where everything was at that moment. Degrees and so forth. And And then the software is designed to draw lines, right? This one's connected to that one in a certain way, right? It's at right angle, or it's, a certain number of degrees that it has a significance. Conjunctions. These things are important, right? Things that are within a certain distance from each other is considered to be conjunct, right? Close together. I have a fair bit of that going on here. I have a lot going on in Scorpio. I have a fair bit going on in Sagittarius. And my houses, my first, second, and eighth house are void, right? And so there's this language that we speak as far as what all this means. 7589. Well, if we're doing a theosophical reduction, let's just drop all the 9s, right? And then we'll drop the 8 and the 1. And so up there, we're going to be left with 7, 8. Going to take one from that. It's a 4 on top. So the top's a 4. On the bottom, get rid of all the 9s and the 9. So it's a 4. The whole thing equals 4. Let's do it the slow way. 9 plus 1 is 10. Plus 7 is 17. Plus 5 is 22. Plus 1 is 23. 32. 41. 49. 4. Yeah, that's a 4. 4 is a good number. That's a good one. It's a solid sort of like foundation from which to build. Especially when you're dealing with pentacle energy, right? So I don't know if you guys noticed, I made some changes to the desk here. And right now, I mean, you can't really see all of what I did. But I moved some stuff around, and I adjusted some things. And there's some new additions to the space, right? I mean, you guys might be familiar with this here, right? And just, I'm going to find a permanent home for it, right? On the desk. And I plan on using it a lot more in my readings. Because it's just so darn cool. It's something to be said for having a nice physical one, and the way that the piece of wood came to me, and at the time, and it fit the dish perfectly for the beads. It was a very appropriate coming together of synchronicities, right? And so I think it's an important thing, and I wanted to kind of make room for some other stuff as well. I thought I might bring back out my lion and my eagle, right? And they're in their transformed states, although the eagle is red, right? And the lion is white. Okay, and so we're just going to have them back out here to sort of grace us with their love. As a reminder that that's us, and that's what we're always doing. We just have to allow ourselves to remember that. There's another new addition to the desk here, which is something that I'm really, really happy. I have a thing for spheres. I don't know why. Maybe it's the perfection of them, or the smoothness, or the fact that no matter how you look at it, it doesn't change shape, right? It stays in its singular perspective, regardless of what direction you're looking at it. I just always thought that was fascinating. If you take an object like this, which is perfectly round, right, and you look at it from a different angle, it's not perfectly round anymore, right? It changes based on the perspective. It can even become a flat object, and if it's two-dimensional, it would become invisible when it hit that center point, right? And so it's that kind of idea. But a sphere, it has to be perfect. A sphere, when it turns, no matter how you view it, it doesn't change its perspective. It's sort of locked in. There's a consistency about that I always found to be really strong, almost holy. Even as a child, there's something about the idea of a ball that I found to be fascinating. And the idea of the other extreme, which is a cube, which even the tiniest minute change in your perspective, it changes shape, which is really neat. And so those two things, that dichotomy between the fact that they're both a perfect form mathematically, but have a completely different perspective, is just really neat. And so in my compulsion towards spheres, I decided to add a sphere to the space here. Let me make sure my mic doesn't fall down, pardon me. I had to take it down, and it seems like it's a bit loose. And the sphere that I decided to add to the space is obsidian. Obsidian is a very special mineral to me. It's a good grounding energy. Let's get this right. This microphone is going to wind up falling off. Pardon me, sorry. It's funny too, I adjusted it before I got on so that it wouldn't do this, but I guess I didn't put it in just the right spot, and so it's wanting to fall off while I'm using it. Oh boy. Okay. Yeah. Live people. Okay. One more time. Hi there. Never happened. What do you mean? Oh boy. So, train of thought derailed. Spheres. But yeah, so anyway, there's a couple of new additions to the space here, right? And so one of them is the pentacle, and I'm going to be using it. And obviously on the other side too, we have the elemental information. So when we put it in the dish, it fits very nicely in the dish. And so when we're doing readings, we can drop the beads right on top and have all that learning take place, right? Or we can, go the other side and lay out an actual chart, or we can just, divine it as we would almost as like a transit type reading, if we wanted to as well. And I usually put the time of that we're in right now, the period that we're in. This mirror is not cooperating either. Sorry. It's funny. Everything was so perfect and set and not moving, and just and I actually literally hit my desk several times. I jarred it several times to make sure things didn't fall or whatever, and everything was nice and set and working well. And I was like, okay, great. Let's hit the button. Microphone falls over, the mirror won't stay. I love it. I love it. Just like the raw beauty of the chaos is so indicative of the reality of the world that we live in, that it's kind of holy what's happening right now. Yeah, this mirror just does not want to stay any longer, and so I might consider putting it elsewhere. Until I'm able to put it on here properly and it stay. Yeah, it's not happening. It's not going to cooperate. And that's okay. So I'm going to put the period of time that we're in on the bottom. I don't know if is that visible up there. Yeah, we're in Scorpio right now. Let's let that camera catch up. Okay, almost. Jeez. Okay, there you go. This is the period of time that we're in right now. And I'll be turning the wheel as oh my gosh, wow, hurry up. Okay, wow. I'll be turning this wheel as time progresses, and I may even include some things that are relevant to the, wow. Relevant to the period of time. So if we're coming into a certain period of time that's significant with respect to a astronomical event or something that astrologically is significant to a large group, I think I might want to include it in this so that we can kind of have it present in the space, so that we can reference it in conversation and address it as we go. So in the meantime, I'm not sure where to put this mirror. I'm not sure if it'll fit in here. No, it won't. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I have a safe place now. Alrighty. So, another one of the additions to the desk here I was alluding to was a sphere, an obsidian sphere. I have it right here. Now, with the exception of the individual who polished it and packaged it and put it in the box, this has not been touched by human hands, and I'm not going to. Anytime I've handled it with a piece of cloth, and so there's no fingerprints, there's no essence. It's and which actually, it's hard to say that considering that it's such a perfect black that it's just it's just reception, you know. And it's a beautiful scrying stone. I had a piece of obsidian years ago as a sphere that I used to scry with, in lieu of a mirror. I thought there was something about the sphere kind of having this idea, although it's in an act of reception, of ejecting, of bestowing from a point in the center, and that symbolically that was relevant to me when it came to manifesting visually intelligences. And so I found it very effective for that work, as opposed to a mirror, which is, you know, convex, and it's a different idea. Although that's where I started, right? I don't know about you guys, but when I first put mine together, I didn't have all kinds of money. I was young, and so I went out and I found the smoothest glass bowl that I can find. It was nothing crazy. It was just a dish from a store, but the way that it landed, the flat part was kind of rounded. It wasn't like a squared off or a super flat bottom, and so it was easy for me to paint it black on the outside and the inside become a black mirror, and it worked pretty well. That was my first one. But spheres, there's something about them, and my first one was relatively small, so this is actually a nice sized chunk of obsidian. And obsidian is a special stone because it's naturally formed in a very beautiful process. It's a volcanic process that it requires all of the elements to come together, and what you're left with is this beautiful, pure black, non-crystalline but crystal in nature object, which is really quite beautiful. It's sort of like the unification of the randomness of the natural processes and the beautiful archetype of the crystal structure. And so, you know, when you combine those two things, it's exactly what we really want out of a scrying stone, right? And so, yeah. Let's catch up on the chat real quick. I'm back. Tried zucchini fries today. They were tasty, but my tummy sure didn't agree with. You know what that sounds like to me? You know what I found out recently? I went to a doctor a couple of years ago for a different reason, and it turns out I had diverticulitis. Like, seriously? Thankfully, I'm like, okay, well, listen, eggplant? And she's like, no, you're fine. Just don't overdo it. I'm like, oh, all right, what about sesame seeds? Because, I mean, you know, no, sesame's fine. I'm like, oh, okay, good. So what do I have to worry about? And it really just comes down to being moderate with things. And if you do find something that bugs you, don't do it. And they say, like, zucchini is an example. The seeds aren't really good. Cucumber seeds can probably mess with you pretty good if you're dealing with diverticulitis, right? If that's the thing that's... Although they're so good. Or also sliced up zucchini that's sort of fried in butter or oil. Almost like a spaghetti alternative. Don't get discouraged. The horrible problems can be fixed. I agree. Something tells me that this is all going to be corrected, and it's going to be a much smoother process in the very near future. You know, it comes down to this. Recognize, and that's what this is really here and designed to illustrate, right? This is the oracle I put together for the I Ching. Everything is in motion all the time. Nothing's still. Everything is in motion. Everything vibrates. And we have to recognize that, and we have to recognize our participation in that, and that we have the capacity to alter that vibration by adding our own frequencies, right? It's the idea of the harmony. It's the idea of the melody, the idea of the chord. And so recognizing that everything is in motion and mentally and spiritually being in a state of rejecting that leads to disease. It leads to suffering. from one degree or another, right? And so it's incumbent upon us as agents of ourselves, our destinies, to be open to change, to motion, to movement. Because in the act of motion is the act of stirring up and giving energy to the vortex. And when we do that, it gives power to possibility. It gives permission for probability to be made manifest. And so we should do that. And not only that, we should willingly do that. We should enroll the universe in that. We should run into it. Rather than being open to movement, we should be the movement, because we already are. Right? That's the point. And so the obsidian sphere is a new addition here as well that's going to be a permanent. And interestingly, this is completely accidental, and the more I look at it, the more interesting it is. It wound up dead center on the camera, like on the top. It's sort of like this, it landed at an interesting, like the dark sun. This is an accident too, that I happen to have this. This is just a chip. It's a wooden chip. One side's the sun, one side's the moon, right? And I just kind of use it to set intention. And so I just had it as like a bestowal. Right, I have this in the act of speaking, because this is a deck of tarot, and I wanted to speak the truth to us. It's just neat to have this like dark sun right next to this. I mean, come on, camera. This dark sun right next to this. Oh, I touched it. I touched it. Oh no. Never happened. The magic is dead. What am I gonna do? Should I do a banishing? This is the part where we realize that, the things in life that matter are the things that we decide matter. Right? Touch it. Get in there. You can always polish it later. It's okay. So I thought it'd be interesting to set it to sun, right? So that we can kind of have it in a state of bestowal, since we're here to hear it, to listen. It's a new deck, by the way, and it combines with another deck that I have to make up this perfect union of the higher and lower worlds. Wait till you see it. I have another combination I've been using in the past, but this piece was missing, and so it's complete. And I'm going to be using it today to do readings. So at least when I do tarot today, I'm going to be using that combination. It's going to be pretty great. Here's another addition to the space. This is a temporary addition, but it's here nonetheless. This is a kaleidoscope. We were just talking about this a couple of days ago. This one is special. It's very old, and is not in the best repair, but it does work. It is functioning. It's actually in really good shape as far as function. It's just it's kind of banged up a little bit. Okay. Now, right now it's two separate pieces. Okay. And so what we have first is that. So the mirror is in good shape. And now this is the light catcher. I'm not sure what you call that, but the light catcher. And now this is the other side of that, which is really interesting. This is steady. This is glued in. I mean, come on, camera. Okay. These are steady. They don't move. So this you rotate this to get the effect. However, there's the four colors here as well, right? The red, the yellow, the green, and the purple. As that kind of add to the color when you look through it. Come on, man. Come on. All right. But this opens up. And you can drop beads in, or you can separate it to spin it more effectively, when actually experiencing the complete thing here. So I'm just going to close it up and try to aim it at the camera and see if we can't have an interesting little experience here with this Very old, very pretty kaleidoscope. Come on, here we go. Neat. Cute. It's very pretty. And depending upon how you turn it, it kind of flips between a threefold and sixfold symmetry, which is a lot of fun. I enjoy it. It's a pretty one. The colors are nice. It has this kind of old style to the color. And the beads, again, if you look, very old retro-y kind of beads, right? Alyssa, hello. Thanks for popping in. I appreciate it. We always love to see new faces, new voices, new perspectives, new questions, hopefully. I'm warning you, you're going to love everybody here. We're all awesome. And a couple of the coolest people here happen to be here right now, which is very cool. So you came in at a good time. I'm going to be cracking open a new deck right now, actually. Well, it's already cracked open. I haven't shuffled it. I kept it unshuffled, right? And what this is the black and gold Rider-Waite, right? And as you guys know, I'm a ceremonial magician. I'm a practicing Hermetic mage. And I've been using Thoth-based and Golden Dawn-based tarot for as long as I can remember. But I always love going back to the good old pixie. There's something to be said for it, that familiarity. And now, understanding the language as I do, it's easy to go back and still have the knowledge that we've gained, right? We don't have to lose that. Let me grab its counterpart here real quick, and then I want to introduce one more thing that we're adding to the space here on a permanent basis. I got a very important book that I used to own, and I unfortunately lost in a bad situation that I finally now was able to get back. And it's a very, very cool book. It's going to come in handy for the work that I'm doing here. Love that, right? How awesome. You did come in at a cool time. And Manzini, love that name. You're among friends. There's a lot of Italians in the room. Some of them are going to be here later. And so whether you were born with that name or it was given to you out of the act of love, you're Italian in my book. So welcome. So this said, what I have here is probably one of the most important tools to any magician that is worth their weight in salt. How are you going to do Tarot-Con unless you are a native speaker of Hebrew, which I am not. I'm an Italian from Brooklyn. Now, I do know a little bit, and I've tried to learn, and, I do have, I was raised accidentally half Jewish. And so I do have a little bit, but I wasn't bar mitzvah. There was never a necessity for me to learn the language, and they didn't practice. Nor did the Catholic side, frankly. We were just a bunch of non-practicing American secular people, right? We practiced our culture, not our religion. But that said, though, it's important that you have access to this stuff, right? I mean, we have good resources online. I especially use it for Gematria, right? To just quickly get a good example of words that are contain the same numerical value. And nothing against Crowley. 777 is a really good starter, but it's certainly not complete, of course. And there are some good resources out there. And I have found a couple that I use here on the show that I can count on, that I trust, and that come down from very good sources, right? So like one example that I use for Gematria, which is an excellent tool, and I recommend this to anybody who takes this art seriously, is an individual that is a practicing ceremonial magician, and has provided a bunch of tools that he's just made public. And one of those tools is the Gematria, right? And so we can do the mathematics, figure out what the numerical value is. Come here, choose the actual number, and there's all kinds of good stuff that he's done for us, which is really great. And this is like 777 on steroids. I mean, what a valuable resource, right? And that's a resource that I put my trust in, and I'm comfortable using in my own magical work. However, the tool is not effective in reverse. For instance, if I go ahead and let's say we do Gematria for Alyssa Manzini, right? We have a new person, so let's pick on her. Tanamera. Hang on, I'm sorry. Tanamera, how's it going? I just saw your name. What's going on, love? Here's the biggest hug ever. So we have to pick on the new person. So what we'll do is I'm going to do some Gematria on your name. We're going to take your name, figure out what the numerical value is, and it's going to give us a number. We can then take that number and look for other words that contain that numerical value. That's fun. But now the dictionary is going to come in handy here. And why? Because what I'm going to do is then do what's called Tamura. And what Tamura is I'm going to take every letter of the name, Alyssa, and convert it using a very specific rule set, right? Like here's an example of the rule sets. This is my paper version. I'll have it up on the screen for you guys. Okay. All right, and so in this example, like for in the example of the name Alyssa, Hey would be the E, and that would turn into a Tsadi, right? And then the next one, the Lamed would turn into a Kaf, right? And so that said, it's going to be a different word. And now there's no guarantee that what we are left with is an actual word. It's just a string of letters and numbers. That's all it is. But it might be a word, and sometimes it is. And when it is, it's pretty exciting. So now it's hard though to really find a good resource online that you can quickly search. And so it's good to just jump to the dictionary, go to Tsadi, look for that word, and see if it exists, right? Or something that's similar in numerical value from that respect. So it's a lot of fun. And so we'll go through that exercise, and if we need to, then we can use the dictionary to get that learning, right? And I think that's it as far as new things. I did add this to the desk. I've had this for quite some time, but it's a replica of my church, right? It's just neat to kind of have something that I can look back on. It's an old building. It's been up since 1907 or 1807. 1807. The United States was, just old enough to drink when this church was built, and it's still standing, and it's still doing good things. And so I have it sort of as just like a reminder of the entrance to the temple. And to never forget that regardless of what your brand is of your belief system or whatever the case may be, that you recall that it's holy and that you treat it that way, because that's what matters. That you treat the work holy, right? So let's do this. I'm going to grab a piece of paper and we're going to do some Gematria for the new person, so that when we're done, she won't be the new person anymore. She's going to be Ellie. So let's see, or whatever name that you wind up with. People have a habit of getting nicknames around here if they stick around. So actually, you know what? I might want to leave this out. I'll just use this in a dry erase marker. How about that? Okay. And then we might even draw you a sigil. Once we know what your name is, we can draw the sigil on the flower, and then you'll have like an icon, a logo for your name. It's kind of neat. All right, let's move some stuff and get ready to make some magic. Who here that's been here long enough is getting excited about the fact that I'm about to do Gematria on a new person's name? Ellie is right. Oh yeah, no, I got that vibe. I don't know. I got the vibe that you're an Ellie. And so, whenever I do Gematria on this channel, it blows minds. It's kind of nuts. And so we're about to go through that. And so just to be clear what's going to happen now. Hebrew, Greek, and various other languages do not use a different character for their letters and numbers. They use the same character for A and 1, B and 2, and so forth. And so now, what that means is that a word, it can also be a number. In fact, it is a number. Right? And so what we can do is we can take that knowledge and we can apply that. Let me open up the document here so I can put this stuff in. As we're talking, I want to have it up on screen so you can see the value of the letters, see the words. So give me a moment while I open that up. There we go. Okay. Yeah, right now I have some stuff I was doing before in here, and so let's just change the text to be relevant to what we're talking about with you here. And so I'll be typing that in as we go. Okay. Sir. Who's sir? You don't mean me. Oh, me? No. Sir. Wow. I don't know about that. Call me Mookie. I'm definitely not a sir. Mookie. Alright, so what color should I use for you? I don't know. I'll use some green. I'm going to use green for you. Alright, so. First things first, let's just write down the English. Make sure I get this right. Okay. It's not showing up, is it? It's really hard to see on the camera. It's not really showing up on there, is it? Nope. Alright, now let's just rely on the text document for you because I want you to be able to see this properly. What's going on here? Is this about to fall off again? Yep. Pardon me. I just made some adjustments to my desk, and now my microphone doesn't want to stay on the desk. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, no, you call me Michael, Mookie, Mikey, asshole. Just not Mike. Mike's the only name I don't like. You can call me anything else that you want. Okay. Wow, this is legitimately just gonna do this all night. I can't believe it. Okay, give me a sec, guys. I'm sorry. seems pretty snug. Let's see. Okay. Okay, then. Yeah. Simmer down. We just met. Okay. So, welcome to the channel. Okay. Oh, she called me Mikey. Butter. Yeah. So let's see. Let's just type it in here and so that it's clear on the screen. Okay, so what we're going to do here is, there you go, wait for this to catch up, is we're just going to, first thing I'm going to do is write down the Hebrew equivalent so that you're clear, because not all the letters are obvious. Another interesting quirk of Hebrew, not only in the fact that the letters and the numbers are the same characters, and so 1 equals A, B equals 2, and so forth, there's no vowels. I know that sounds strange because it's like, but Michael, you just said that there's an A. Is an A a vowel? Well, no, it's actually a consonant in the Hebrew language. Now, so there's certain cases that it's vocalized as an ah, and some cases it's vocalized as the vowel sound of the aleph. So that said, not to confuse, and don't worry, it's not important that you know this, it's important that I do, but the fact is that, for instance, one of the letters that you may see for the I is going to be a Y, or letters for the an E is the H, or the O is a V, because vow, ooh, ow. So it makes an O sound when you're vocalizing the consonant, right? D makes an E sound. B makes an eh sound, even though it's a B. So, there's ways that you access the vowels. And actually, the vowels are the only thing that's real. But that's a different story. And it all derives from the yud. But in the end of the day, I'm going to start typing some letters here, and I don't want to confuse because it's got, why is he typing a V? And what does that have to do with him? And that's why. Okay? And now there's a chart here as well, and the chart to reference for your sake is the one on the top right here, where it says the Hebrew alphabet, and there's those letters, and next to it is the numerical value of that letter. And so now, traditionally, Hebrew is written from right to left, and I'm not going to do that for the sake of the Gematria. I'm just going to type it out and with respect to how Alyssa Manzini is on the screen here, right? So let's do that. So first thing is that the E is a hey, right? And then Lamed, Yud, Samek, or Shin, actually, we're going to do Shin. And then we're going to do Aleph. Okay. And now that's the first word. And we're just going to do some quick math here. Let me just get this set up a little bit so it's a little clear what we're doing. All right. And so if we look up at the top there, it's kind of easy to see how we do this math, right? Essentially, you you know, you'd start with the Hey, which would be 5, then the Lamed, which would be 30, right? The Yud, which is 10, the Shin, which is 300, out, and just do the math, right? And so let me just pop open the text document real quick. Man, that's serious lag when it took like a solid 10 seconds to open up Notepad. Okay, so I'll look at that. And it's like it almost looks like it's saying Holy Shah. All right. Holy Shah. But anyway, so 5. 300. 1. Okay, so what are we looking at? 346. I want to verify that math. Oh, come on, computer. Okay. All right. 35, 45, 345, 346. Yep. Right. Okay, so first thing that you can do here. Oh, we'll do the Manzini next. Interesting. A race in the west and of their land from which purple dye was taken. The Hellas. Trespass. To move away, to depart. To feel or touch. A fountain. That's a good one. I like this one. Okay. Let's look at the second word. Excuse me. So the first word means 346, and these are some other words that are related to that, right? And you know what? Let's just copy it on here so that... Oh my gosh, sorry. Yeah. You guys are in for a long night of lag, and I apologize in advance. I'll try to make it worthwhile. Deep is my specialty. Deep is what I do on this channel. Okay, I'm sorry, it's, yeah, you know, trying to kind of cut and paste back and forth is literally taking so long and lag because I'm having issues, and like I'm still waiting for this to catch up so I can just select the next bit of text. Okay. So I apologize for that. Okay. All right, good. So now the next word we're going to do is Manzini. So let's just take a look at that. If I'm able, if at some point Notepad will open for me. Come on, man. And it's not even opening. I mean, it's already open. This is me switching to Notepad, and it's like it's still lagging. Oh my gosh, it's actually getting worse every day. And I promise you it's not a virus. You know, like you'd think it's a memory leak from the way it's acting, but it isn't, I promise. Mem, Aleph, Nun, Zon, Yud, Nun, Yud. Okay. So that's 40 plus 1, and 50 plus 7, 10, 10, 50, 10. You know, it's getting a little crowded here. Or just separate the two words, and so it's a little more clear what's going on here. All right, good. So this is 491, 8, 108, 158, 168. Okay, and we want to bounce that math and make sure I got that right. 168 for Manzi. And let's take a look at 168 and see if we have any additional learning with respect to the difference between how Elsa or Alyssa and Manzini. Let's see, 168. How they connect to other words. Let's take a look. Definite wand energy, the rod of appointment, definite wand energy. Come on out. There it is. Alrighty, so now we've done that, right? I'm sorry, the chat's just being a pain in the bear cause. That's just, I tell you what. Alrighty then, so. The next step is to add the numbers. And that'll give us the word for the combined name, right? Which is it's a different circumstance than the name separately, and that's the name that we're going to do the Timur off of. Okay. And the theosophical reduction is it we'll do next. Actually, let me do it now. So it's on the. Man, that'll give you a headache. This lag really, it's like it jars your eyeballs. Okay. That's a 13, right? 10 plus the 13. That's a 4. Okay, let's just let that pop up. There we go. All right, and then this last one here is a 15, which is a 6. And then when we combine the two, we get 514, which is 1. 5 plus 4 is 9, plus 1 is 10, right, which is a 1. Okay, so this is the total number, and this is the reduced number. And you'll notice too, if we take the reduced numbers separately, it also equals 1. Like, so the theosophical reduction of the two numbers combined is the same as if you take the added numbers and reduce it. It's neat. And that works 100% of the time. It's just very nifty. It's just a quirk of mathematics. And so let's take a look at 514 and see what we can see. Wow, the lag is so bad. It's actually getting like I can't. It's how is it getting worse? Okay, 5:14. Kind of beautiful. Wow. All right. Let's copy that. See how that shows up on the screen here. I might have to reduce the font to get it all in. That was enough. Okay. All right, good. All right, so you get the gist there. Now, there's another operation which is an important operation, and that operation is called Timura. And what we do is we just change the letters, right? And so we have this word, and the word is your actual name, and I just changed the letters to the Hebrew transliteration, but you get the idea. And so we took the numerical value, we reduced it, we looked at some of the words that are associated with it. And there's some learning here as well. Like 514 is the same as 2 times 257. What does that mean? Up to you, right? We could look at the number 257 and realize that your name is twice that. And so there may be some interesting learning there, so let's just go through the exercise. We're going to look at 257. And we're going to see, does it matter that your name is twice that number? That essentially 257 is half of you. Okay, let's find out. Any minute now. What is going on? What is going on? Yeah, I'm just getting a spinning wheel, trying to actually just turn my camera off so you can see that screen of the definitions. It won't. Yeah, so I'm not. The screen went white for a sec, like it was going to crash, but it looks like it might have. I don't know. I'm so sorry. Did not. I don't. I'm sorry. You know, my intent was to try to provide wisdom, and it's kind of turning into a train wreck. I just need to shut the screen off, and now it's like OBS froze, and so I can't do anything. I'm kind of stuck on this screen right now. Until it catches up, or I don't know. I'm not sure. Really? Yeah, I don't know what to do at this point. I'm actually, my OBS is frozen. I'm not even sure if I'm streaming, to be honest. I have no idea if I'm actually still streaming right now. Oh yeah, well, Task Manager, yeah, no, of course. Well, yeah, no, I can't shut down OBS or it's just going to stop the stream. Yeah, it's just going to stop the stream. So, it caught back up. It did. It's almost acting like it's in the middle of downloading an update. You know, it's like that level of slow. Like there's literally not a drop of RAM left, and I have, you know, but it's OBS. This is bottom line. OBS is not functioning well on this laptop after Windows 11 update. If you recall, even with some hiccups that I had in the past, I got it to a point where it was working very nicely, and then 11 came along. And since then, I mean, literally, I just opening OBS slows me to such a crawl that it's like I can't even open and flip to Notepad to type text. Like, but so be it. So yeah, yeah, that's why I originally started with paper and went out and purposely got dry erase markers so that I could do it on paper rather than doing it on screen, so that it wouldn't be this. Hang on, I'm trying to flip back to my camera then, so that I wouldn't have to worry about that, and I could just do it on paper, which is the way I've done it for 30 years, right? Like longer, and this would have been done half an hour ago, complete. The entire name, all the Gematria, all the Timura, all the Notoricon would have been done in a half an hour ago, like on paper, you know. So it's funny trying to make it work so that it could be viewed on screen. It's just, you know. But I will figure it out. I will figure it out. I mean, you know. And actually, it's funny. I'm saying it in jest, but if I wanted to figure out how to make it work, all I would have to do is decide to drop this and to start streaming video games. If I started streaming Xbox, suddenly this thing would work to the point that it would allow me to stream 60 frames a second, right? It's because I'm trying to spread wisdom that it's like won't even let me point at a tarot card without being 7 seconds behind. It's funny. And I'm okay with that. So I will continue that in a sec. I'm going to just actually step away and heat my coffee up real quick and kind of reset my brain, and try to just give in to the fact that this is going to be the experience for the near future, and it will be changing in the very near future, and so I just have to be open to that, right? And then we'll continue by doing the Timura on your name. So basically taking the letters and changing them based on that rule set, right? And then we'll pull some tarot and we'll do some readings. Missy, how's it going? Well, it's coming down to the fact that, like, for me to roll back the update, I would have to also roll back versions of software, and some things that are like pretty deep into the kernel of the computer that are related to a specific type of security technology that is completely changed from Windows 10. So it'd be nice to be able to just do like a manual rollback, but it'd be a pain in the butt. Because even if the OS rolled back, it's not going to roll back all the applications that went through changes also since then, you know, that I've then had to update and change when I got 11. So yeah, it'd be a nightmare. Yeah. Anyway, though, I'll be right back. Just a couple minutes. Let me heat my coffee up, and then we'll continue and go from there. Okay? And I promise I'm going to try my best to stay... I don't even know what the word is. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be. Am I supposed to be complicit to the fact that it's not going to work and be what I want and just work around that? Or am I supposed to be intolerant of that fact and change it? Which I have been trying to do, so... And that said, you know, the reason that it's not fixed is I was trying to do it alone. But then we learn the truth. You have to enroll the other. And when you enroll the other, there's nothing you can't do. Right? So that's the gist here. Yeah, you should get some coffee. I love early 2000 computers. Are you kidding me? You know, like if you had a problem with the computer, there was probably a batch file you can open up in Notepad, adjust a couple of lines of code, and it would fix things. Like, things were different back then, you know? Yeah. It's all right though. It just comes down to finding the right configuration and then leaving it alone. That's what I'm going to do. But that said, I'll be back in a couple minutes, and we're going to move forward with a bunch of fun stuff tonight. So, including these dual decks, okay, got the black and white and the white and black as the higher and lower world version. I'm going to do a reading with that. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then maybe if we have time, we'll pull the beads out later. So that said, I'll see you guys in a couple minutes. I shall return in the speed of Carrick. And then Shushu, you're not late for the party, my brother. You are the party. Ladies and gentlemen, the party is here. I'm just going to go get a coffee. I'll be right back. Alrighty, so, what a gorgeous night. I tell you what, I love these nights. You know, the transition seasons are my favorite, right? It's really, there's something about spring and fall that are just so beautiful. It's a reminder that we're, in for something new on the horizon. And this time of year, what are we in for but stillness, right? We're in for the quiet time. A time of peace and reflection and rebuilding. When we have this opportunity where the universe is saying, hey, listen, I'm going to make it a little dark and quiet for a minute. Why don't you take that opportunity to be dark and quiet yourself? And in that silence is the truth. And that's what we're here to try to find. That's what we're always here to try to find. And what is that truth? We're going to keep pointing to it. I love dark coffee. Love, love, love it. I'm kind of torn lately about my favorite. You know, it's like every once in a while a new flavor pops out that's dark and I give it a shot. And like, for instance, Green Mountain, which has a couple of decent flavors, but they have a new one called, like, what is it called? Black Granite? Man, that's good stuff. I thought Dark Magic was decent. Black Granite is so good, so smooth, but it gives you that bitter. And of course, there's the old standby, which is Verona. It's the only Starbucks I like. Some other stuff's just too, I don't know, it's like overly burnt, like they're trying too hard to achieve that perfect dark, when you really need to let the bean do the talking. And that's a good one too. Yep. And Sumatran. So good. Love the single source Sumatran. That's the real deal right there. A dash of cream, no sugar. Cool. So the bitter's there, right? The bitter's there. Let's do some cards. You know what? I haven't shuffled these yet. I wanted to do it live in front of everybody. So I cracked the box and I put them next to each other so they can talk and get to know each other. Not that they need to, because they've known each other since the beginning of time. But that said, let's shuffle this deck for the first time and see what we can see. Interesting comment, first of all. This is my first time actually touching one of these. I've had the gold version for a long time now, and I like it. I don't really use it on stream too much because it's hard to see. Right? It doesn't show up very nicely on camera. Let's let that catch up. Wow, that's a crazy delay. Right? It doesn't show up nicely on camera because it's so shiny, but I promise you that that's a full card of the traditional Rider-Waite. And the background is textured with the backing, right? The lilies and the roses. Okay, and you'll see that is indicative of like the sky texture, and then there's an offset of a non-textured for the other. It's really quite a beautiful presentation. And they put out another version, well, several actually. They put out several versions of this with sort of an opposite nature. So this is the gold one, and this is the one that I just picked up to make the union complete with respect to the idea of the higher and the lower world. And it's the same deck but reversed, right? And so it has this nature of being the same card but completely opposite. Yes, very shiny. This one's shiny in the same way but different, right? It's the gold is what shines, but there's also a lacquer finish on that black textured portions that you're going to see in this. Does that catch up? That you're going to see in the sky, and other areas where you won't see any texture for that offset, right? And so between the two, it really makes that beautiful duality of the higher and the lower world, which I really love. I'm sorry, it's actually making me nauseous. Like what I have to do is not look at the screen, just not look up at the. I can't, because it's jarring. It's making me dizzy. So, that said, I've showed the spread a couple of times here. It's a spread that I developed over time that uses the higher and the lower world, 4 cards on the top and 4 on the bottom, that then wind up swapping in particular circumstances that give us this indication of how to alleviate the situation. It's a unique reading because my microphone's about to fall again. have to unplug my mic for a sec. Okay, is this working? Hello. Okay, good. So this is just going to sit on the desk, so go ahead and fall over now. I'm the one with the opposable thumbs. Okay, one more time. You can't stop me. You can only slow me down, and that's okay. I have the patience of a serial killer and a crocodile put together. You can't stop me. I'll stay laying waiting forever. It's okay. It's okay. I don't believe in time. When you don't believe in time, you have literally nothing to lose. Truth. Alrighty. Where were we? Back in the beginning. So, this is cute. Listen. Do the boom mic thing. Ladies and gentlemen. Wait, what's that thing I used to say all the time that I haven't said in like 3 weeks? Welcome to the smooth sounds of your soul, singing to you all night long. And once I have my voice back, I'll be able to do that again. Okay, let's go ahead and sit this way. Okay, good, great. How's that? Okay. Francazio is my maiden name. Mm-hmm. Cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just kind of do one of these. Mm-hmm. We'll make it a prop. But now I had the key hanging up on there, and now I don't know what to do with my key. You can kind of see it there. Anyway. Let's shuffle some cards, man. Jeez, enough with this nonsense. Now, all right, how do I sound lean back? Because like I usually I pull the mic back, right? But now I can't do that. So what do? Hold it? I guess I'll hold it. I don't know, that's awkward. I'll figure it out. I gotta figure out where I can attach that thing where it's like it has a decent grip. I don't know. We'll see. Shuffle this over here. I got used to that eventually. So, one comment on these that I thought was interesting is the cardstock is really different. The cardstock is not the same as the gold and black. The gold and black is a very kind of thin, bouncy. They shuffle like butter. Here, let me. You can hear it when you shuffle these. Right, they're smooth. They bend nicely. There's a buoyancy to them. Very thin. They're very thin. Good quality. They have a good quality vibe. They're heavy. There's weight to them. These are low Scarabeo. These are not U.S. games. These are low Scarabeo. Now, these are twice the thickness practically. I mean, not exactly twice, but let me show you the difference here, because it's significant. See the difference in the size? Yeah. It's a markedly thicker deck, and the cardstock feels different when you're shuffling it. Right? It actually does feel different in your hand when you're grabbing it. I haven't shuffled it yet, but when you grab it, and the cards themselves also have a thicker, more substantial sensation in your hand. You know, it feels like that there's more card to it. It's a pretty thick stock, and it might have something to do with the black coating, because the texture of the black seems to be a little more raised under certain circumstances than on the. That might just be an optical illusion, but it has that vibe. It seems that way, right? Yeah, it's funny you say that. I just added a key to my pendant. So this pendant has a very specific meaning, right? And you know, this is a spirit stone. This is my upside down ankh for the Hanged Man. This is it's a sun amulet. Oh man, come on, camera. Okay, like it's a sun amulet, right? And now this down here, I happen to add recently as well. This is my. Oh my gosh. There's a thumb ring broke, and so I just twisted it up and used it as the top of these two pieces. And this is a piece of real copper. Nothing on here is magnetic. It's all magnetically inert. It's all either silver or copper. And this is the four elements, right? The fire, water, air, and earth. You know, a feather, a wing, a flower, and then basically the feminine wand, but the green pentacle, and then the key. And so I just recently added that key. That key is a new addition. I'm so sorry. I must look like a clumsy, bumbling mess. And I typically have my act together. So I've been clumsy lately, dropping things, getting dizzy. Like, I don't know, I'm in a weird place. And I'm trying to just be open to whatever it is, right? You know, and so I apologize. Okay. Thankfully that didn't go down. That would have been fun. Cleaning that up. Okay, so what was I saying? Man, it's hard to keep your head straight when you're. I think it's like a. Oh, you want it to focus? No, bang. Oh, okay. But yeah, so I was gonna shuffle, but I was talking about the cardstock. So yeah, I believe that there might be. It might be an optical illusion based on the fact that there's a denser amount of black on these cards compared to the gold ones, and so it's it may actually just be by virtue of that fact that they seem thicker, and that the thickness is the application. I don't know. I haven't spoken to anybody at Los Scarabeo about their process, or if anyone else has has come to the same conclusion, that it's the coding and not the actual cardstock. I'm not sure, because Los Scarabeo decks seem to have a relatively consistent cardstock season to season. Right? They make the decision and they stick with that with all their products. And I've had that experience in the past. Some have been better than others, right? Depending upon the period of time that you purchased the deck. But lately, they've been pretty good with that. And there is also a slight difference to the artwork with respect to the size, and I think that's also virtue of the fact that it's that opposite. And so the strokes look bigger. Yeah, that's a solid delay. Wow. But just really pretty. They're both pretty. Something about the contrast, right? All right. Without further ado, move this over here. How's that sound? I never know. Without testing it out, I never know if it's all coming in muted or if it's okay. Just do a basic riffle without doing a dovetail yet. Now it's chunky. That's a chunky shuffle. Yeah, this is going to be a chunky one. Let's try to give it a normal riffle. Better. Yeah, they're stuck together. Oh, beautiful. That felt great. Nice shuffle. Nice. Nice. Feels good. Yeah, these feel good. Different feel than the other deck. Similar in weight, strangely, but different. It feels chunkier. And I was concerned when I tried to do that original kind of fall shuffle, and it didn't work out, that they were going to be like really chunky, and they're not. When you do the riffle, they come out very buttery. Yeah, that's nice and smooth. That was my fault. That was a nice smooth shuffle. Let's give that another. That's pretty. Yeah, good. All right. All right, I feel better. They're going to shuffle nice, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be fine. And as they break in, we'll be able to do that fall shuffle, the side, the corner. Yeah, these are really brand spanking new, so that's not gonna work. Okay. In the meantime, what should we read about? It's a random shuffle. What I'm doing right here is just kind of finding a spot and laying them out with no rhyme or reason. And this is an excellent way to really get it mixed up so that you're not relying upon a riffle where you wind up actually kind of resetting the order depending upon your accuracy. And this way it's much less accurate. It's very random. You just dance and lay them out with no particular order. They don't have to be even. I used 7 or more piles to just get it out there and separate them out. The first shuffle, right? Did a bunch of riffles, did a bunch of little whatever cuts, and now we're just going to do this, give it a couple more riffles, and then we're going to call it shuffled. Right? First one's biggie. You want to make sure it's mixed up good. especially a new one, first time out. You know, you want to make sure that it's not set with any particular intention that got stuck in there during transit, during the initial process, right? I almost saw the impression in the back of the card of this. That's interesting. Must have something to do with the process of laying down that gold. So now at this stage, you basically, you know, randomly pick which piles that you're going to grab in the order that you're going to choose. It's just random. There's no rhyme or reason. Doesn't matter if any cards get shuffled around or whatever the case. That's kind of what we're looking to do anyway. You want to put it on top, put it on the top. You want to put it on the bottom, put it on the bottom. Right? Just keep it mixed up. We'll give it 3 more riffles and a couple cuts, and then we're going to call it done. This one's been shuffled multiple times over the past year and change, so it's didn't need the same ritual as the first one, which is new. I love obsidian. There's something so deep and rich about it, you know. It's so black that I mean, you can almost feel yourself getting sucked into it, like really. So what should we read about? Let's take a look here. Yeah, happy 11/11. Yeah, I started at 1:37 today. I was starting a little bit late, and so I just decided, you know what, instead of starting at 1:30, you know, I had to be like all hermetic and shit, so I started at 1:37, which is 11. Yeah, if anybody doesn't have anything in particular you'd like me to look at, I'll just do a generic reading. Otherwise, if you know, well, actually, Alyssa, if you're still here, why don't we do a reading for you? How many tarot readers are in the room where you get a brand new deck and you're gonna be playing it for the first time? You're gonna be shuffling and actually either doing a reading or turning a card, and the first card that you pull in the deck is like super important. Do you get nervous? You know, sometimes I just want to flip the top card on purpose just to like have it set for the King of Sword. King of Swords usually the last card in the deck when you crack a new one. It's not a bad intention, right? It's not a bad card to grab for the first time. tell you what 1111 is bringing. By the way, happy pie. It's 3:14 on 1111. 1111 is going to be bringing me all kinds of goodness. You know what? It already brought me all you people. Some amazing people. And, you know, it brought so much creativity and it brought so much community to this whole thing. I really, you know. And as it progresses, you know, we just need to be open to whatever it is it's going to be. We have to just, you know, be open to the motion, open to the movement, and our play inside of that, right? Just make sure that we don't get in our own way to stop things from happening. I hope it's cherry pie.